This is the Nerd Cube with Havok and Abbs, where we bring all the nerd news and more to you. And now, the hosts of the Nerd Cube, Havok and Abbs.
Welcome to the Nerd Cube, the only radio show powered by an arc reactor. I'm your host, Havok, and sadly, Abbs is not with us tonight. But we send her tons of love and support. Hopefully, we'll have her back next week. But picking up the mantle of Psychic is a friend of our show, 404.
What's up, everybody? How you doing?
Well, hopefully we have a great show. And 404, you were on the show last week, and so everyone kind of got a little tease on how you actually are on the show. So we're glad to have you here, man. We're glad to have you.
That's not a problem, man. You know, I love to executive produce this show.
Well, before we get into the the fun stuff, we do have a little bit of kind of sad news regarding Nerd Cube. Some of you saw it on the event page.
I wouldn't say it's that sad. I wouldn't call it that sad.
Well, I know, but it's to get the drama in it. Come on. I had to have a little bit of fun. No, the show is not canceling. If that was your big fear, we are not canceling. We are just rebranding the show. Nerd Cube will no longer going to be called Nerd Cube. We are now called Nerd Realm, effective next week. So expect to start seeing invites to your inboxes to come to the new page we have set up, and also, you'll actually be able to catch this show as well as next week's show on YouTube, effective probably tomorrow. Hopefully, if we get everything all situated. But yes, you'll be able to hear it live here on Thursdays, and then you want to listen to us at work, you can pull us up on YouTube, listen there. And let's go ahead and kick straight into headlines.
Actually, Havok, if you don't mind, I'd actually like to let everyone know is that not only can you listen to it live when we do a live show like tonight, but the way NWR is running these days is that replays of almost all of our shows will always happen throughout the day. So when you turn on NWR at any time during the day, you never know what you're going to hear. You might hear a replay of an old show, but you might hear something new, along with a bunch of great music that I can almost guarantee you've never heard before, but you're probably going to like it. So NWR is making huge changes, and we're so happy to have the Nerd Cube and Nerd Realm as part of it. It's one of our best shows.
No, I mean, yes, you'll actually be able to hear, like 404 said, you'll be able to hear us like pretty much everywhere. YouTube, you'll hear us on NWR. You'll hear us everywhere. Hopefully you won't get sick of us, but yes, we're here. We're always going to be on the air for you. And
always Facebook.
Oh yes, always Facebook. We post all the time. I think that's the only thing we do.
That's where it all starts, man.
But yeah. But let's kick into headlines.
Let's do it.
Let's see. We got Lucy Lawless. Everyone knows her as the Xena Warrior Princess. She's been casted for Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2. No real word on what type of role she's going to take at this time. I believe the Marvel panel at the San Diego Comic-Con, which kicked off yesterday. I know the Marvel panel's tonight, if I'm not mistaken. It's either tonight or tomorrow night. So we'll probably get more information on that. But yeah, she's joining Season 2. And if you've seen any of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 1, it was a rocky series, I'll admit, but I liked it. I mean, the last like 6-7 episodes, right after Winter Soldier, really kind of got the wheels going on that show.
I'd really like to get into it, but I'm not bound to network TV, and I got to catch it on Netflix. And for some reason, they never put the first like 2 episodes on Netflix, or not Netflix, but Hulu. They may have by now. I haven't looked in a while, but hopefully they have by now, because I totally want to watch that show, but I don't want to start watching it 3 episodes in.
Oh yeah, I hate that. That was actually one of the reasons I got rid of Hulu. Also because why was I paying $10 a month almost, which I know it's probably not that much, but I was paying that, and I was still having to watch commercials. I was like, I'm paying for you. I didn't have to watch commercials.
I don't mind 3, maybe 4 commercials that last less than 2 minutes at all. Not at all. I don't mind that. What I do mind is whenever they show you the same commercial 5,000 times.
And you know what? I think that's the reason I got really, really kind of tired of it. But Agents of Shield should be on DVD sometime, I think, next month. Next month or September, I believe, because I know Captain America: The Winter Soldier comes out in September, and I'm excited for that. I already got money put aside for that. I'm ready for it.
Me too. I totally want. I didn't get a chance to see it in the theaters, and so I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah,
I'm a huge Cap fan.
Through, a good portion through Agents of Shield. Stop, watch Captain America, and then start watching Shield. Because it flows really, really well. It flows right into each other. It's really nice.
Yeah,
it's a really nice transition.
That's really cool. When the idea of Shield came up on TV, I was like, that is so smart with the whole superhero realms that they're doing with the movies and just all of these strings of movies, and then to have a TV show that's sort of like a spin-off of these movies and everything. I was like, that is a brilliant idea, and I hope it catches on and for other things, you know. I mean, I kind of think they're trying to do it with those those vampire movies and stuff like that, but man, these days I kind of think that whole thing is played out anymore. Like, you don't really hear them talking about that garbage anymore. Plus, it was really vampire stuff is dumb. My opinion. You know what? This is the Nerd Realm. Everyone's welcome here, and I apologize. I didn't mean to offend any of you, vamptards.
About Blade the Vampire, and then I'm okay with it. I'm totally okay with that. Wesley Snipes is a vampire, yeah.
Oh yeah, but Blade is a badass, man.
I love those movies. I have all three of those movies. Yep. They're really, really great movies. Speaking of stuff in like the horror genre of stuff, Insidious Chapter 3 began filming in Los Angeles a couple days ago. It's set as a prequel to the first two films. Has a release date of May 29th of 2015. You can see the first shot from the set on NerdCube's event page. I didn't get to see part 2. I really wanted to. It's on Netflix. I just haven't had time to really sit down and watch it. I liked Insidious, even though it's terrible. If that makes any sense.
It does.
It's not terrible. The word terrible is not as bad as I'm putting on it. It's really a decent movie.
Well, I mean, terrible describes... It could have been the next Poltergeist.
It could have been the next Poltergeist.
Yeah.
And then they threw in this whole weird thing at the very end. I'm like, okay. You had something, and then you wanted to go and do that whole twist thing. Because I thought they were just going to end it there. And then they said Chapter 2, and I was like, okay, I'll check it out. Mm-hmm. Which I haven't yet. But you want to go over to some Marvel news? I got some cool stuff for you.
Absolutely. Love Marvel news.
Well, Kevin Feige, as I talk about him all the time because he's the only one who can't keep his mouth shut when talking to people. He revealed on how Quicksilver is going to be different in Avengers: Age of Ultron than the Quicksilver that was featured in this past May's X-Men: Days of Future Past. Which, if you haven't seen Days of Future Past Quicksilver, he was pretty awesome. When I first heard he was going to be in it, and I saw his look in Entertainment Weekly, I was like, he's stupid looking. He stole the show. He was awesome. He was really, really funny. But in this one, of course, in Age of Ultron, it's going to actually have Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, which is his twin sister. And apparently in the movie, according to Kevin Feige, they have a personal hatred for the Avengers. And they're going to have more of an Eastern European war-torn orphan background, which is kind of cool because Quicksilver's real name is Pietro Maximoff, which in Days of Future Past he was just known as Peter. Which I was like, it's a slight change.
He's Peter.
Yeah. It's apples and oranges, I guess. But he also mentioned that yes, you'll probably see some visual effects that are similar to what you saw in Days of Future Past, but can you really blame him? He's a guy that moves really quickly. I mean, there's really not much you can do to really kind of slow that down. Time will slow down around him. Yeah. I'm sure we're going to see that a couple times in Flash this fall on CW.
Yeah, I gotta say, I know absolutely nothing about Quicksilver or Scarlet Witch. Those are two names that it's like that I kind of know the names, but I have no idea what their story is behind them.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a good time to learn. You have until May to find out who they are. You don't have to know their entire story because obviously you're not going to have all that in not Days of Future Past, in Avengers: Age of Ultron. They're actually children of Magneto, which unfortunately Magneto's a mutant, and that all belongs to Fox. And so you're going to get a kind of a different origin with Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. So we'll see how this goes.
Sure.
I'm still a little iffy about those two, but I'm willing to take it. Marvel Studios doesn't really let me down per se, so we'll see how they're going. I got the same amount of iffy on those two as I do the Ant-Man movie. Speaking of Ant-Man, around comic,
God.
which I'm really mad about that I'm not in San Diego. I want to be in San Diego so bad. They have posters that are circling around at Comic-Con, and they're really, really cool looking designs. And they have an Ant-Man poster. They have several character sheets for Avengers Age of Ultron. And see a couple of those in our event page. They look beautiful.
No.
But Ant-Man?
No. Ant-Man. I fucking hate Ant-Man. I hate Ant-Man. Ant-Man is the dumbest character ever. I mean, aside from the fact that he's critical to the fact of Ultron, being the creator of Ultron and everything, but Ant-Man is so stupid. Oh, big deal, you can shrink really small, but then all of a sudden you can get really super big too. And every time you do one of those two things, all you do is put yourself in danger, and then you're the first one taken out, and then you put somebody else in danger who's got to come and save your ass because you suck, because you're stupid. You can control insects.
You're talking about, actually, it depends on which one you're talking.
You know what? It doesn't
is currently
matter.
cast Scott Lang.
Who?
Which is the second man. Paul Rudd. He's been in several movies.
Really?
Sadly, because I can't name any of them off the top of my head.
Paul Rudd? Paul Rudd is awesome. He's a hilarious comedic actor. But you know him best from Anchorman.
And I'm so on any of his movies. I wouldn't blank on any of his movies.
Oh, he was in Anchorman.
That's the big one. That's the big one. He was, yes.
Yeah. And you know what? He's in a lot of buddy comedy movies and like romantic comedy movies and stuff. I mean, he's a funny actor and stuff, but a lot of times it's
in Clueless too.
Maybe I'm not sure, but anyway, no, he's great those. But he's going to be
the second.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh yeah, he's playing the second Ant-Man, which was Scott Lang, which I think everybody liked that one a little bit better than Henry Pym, who's being played by Michael Douglas.
Pym, God, I'm telling you, Ant-Man. You know what?
From how it sounded.
You know what? If there's going to be an Ant-Man, then Wasp had better show up. There better be Wasp.
That's the thing. They haven't said anything, but like I said, the Marvel panel is probably going on right now while we're on the air, but obviously we can't really see anything about it. But trust me, whatever we hear, you'll probably hear some of it next week. We air every Thursday, so anything that happens during the week is all news for us. So it's lovely. But Ant-Man's due out next summer. Late next summer. It's going to be way after Avengers. To
any of our listeners who know anything about Ant-Man, who don't know anything about Ant-Man, I would just like to tell you, don't waste your time. Ant-Man is retarded. It's stupid.
I mean, with Paul Rudd pulling for it, I'm gonna go watch it. Obviously, I'll go watch any comic book movie.
You know what? You know what Ant-Man's biggest. You know what his biggest weakness is? A foot. A foot could step on him.
Well, technically, he has super strength when he's small.
Yeah, bullshit.
He has the strength of an ant.
Really? The strength? Oh, did you hear that? He's got the strength of an ant. Guess what? I've stepped on a whole squad of ants before, and you know what? They all died.
and their ancestors are coming after you. Now, speaking of stuff for Avengers, Robert Downey Jr. was making some vague comments with Entertainment Weekly this past week. He's been kind of originally when he finished Iron Man 3, that was supposed to be it for him. That was it. He was done. He's getting old. So, but he signed on to be in Avengers 2 and 3, but right now he's kind of he's dancing around the question of whether or not he'll be back for a fourth movie if they choose to do it. Which last week he was named the #1 highest paid actor in Hollywood. No, in the world. I'm sorry, not just Hollywood. In the world, with $75 million he made this past year alone.
Yeah, why wouldn't he do that? It's like saying, no, I don't like money.
Well, that's actually what he said. He says he said in interviews, "Why give up the belt?" I mean, he's. Hey, if he's willing to do it, if Disney can afford to write that check, which God, Disney has a checkbook now because of Avengers. Something they haven't had since like the early '90s is the animation renaissance.
Yeah,
talking about Lion King and all. For those of you that don't get what the Renaissance is.
But you know, the thing is that if they were to replace Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, it just whoever steps into his role is going to be immediately hated. You know,
exactly, and
it's like changing.
Which isn't really fair. I mean, because we got to accept that these actors are going to get old to where they can't do these roles. I mean, do you really want Chris Evans walking around as Captain America at 60?
No, but what I would like to see is because you know the movie franchises aren't going to go that long or go that far. I would think at some point they're going to die off, just like every other genre does at some point. But to be able to and that's the other thing is I personally like the idea of if you are a Hollywood actor and you get a role as a particular character, that you should not be allowed to play any other character. You know?
I agree.
You can play different versions of that character, but you can't play like what's the guy's name? Ryan
Reynolds?
Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, he was Green Lantern. And then he was also Gambit, I think, in an X-Men movie, right?
Deadpool. He was he wasn't Deadpool. He was Wade Wilson.
So he was Deadpool before he was Deadpool.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. Okay. People give Ryan Reynolds a hell about that last few scenes. First, he wasn't even there for those last few scenes. The scene at the very end where Wolverine's fighting the Deadpool. I do that in air quotes that you guys can't see. That wasn't even Ryan Reynolds. That was his stunt double, because Ryan Reynolds already had another commitment that he had to go and meet, which was the movie that also came out that same year, The Proposal with Sandra Bullock. So he had to leave there, head to go film that movie, and then people blamed him for that terrible Deadpool we got. I was like, that wasn't him. That was on Gavin Hood and whoever wrote that damn garbage.
Yeah,
because it wasn't Deadpool. I mean, he had swords coming out of his hand. He had optic blasts from Cyclops. Ugh, that was all types of. The only thing they did have was they gave him his teleportation, which he had in the comic for a little bit. I don't think he even has that anymore now that I'm thinking about it. Because I know, like, I'm reading the Deadpool comic through Marvel now, and I haven't seen him teleport once.
You know, and it's a shame that the Green Lantern movie just wasn't very good, because I've been watching the Green Lantern animated series on Netflix, and
which is a great series.
It is. It's fantastic, and I mean, aside from the fact that you kind of get used to that whole computery animation part of it, after a while you get used to it, and it's not a big thing. But I'm sorry, what?
It's really daunting at first, like where you're like, I don't know if I like this.
Yeah.
But then the stories are really good.
Yeah, and the storyline of it and everything, it really drove it, and it got to a point where after a little while you didn't even really notice it anymore, and then you're kind of like, well, wait a minute, when it's not there, you're like, nah, I kind of like that. But the storylines and the storyline of that was fantastic, and I really liked that as a good introduction to the Green Lantern mythos, which is not really the right thing, because I know John
good,
Stewart as Green Lantern.
It's a really good jumping on point for people who had no idea who Green Lantern is. Yeah. That's the way I see it. It's a great jumping on point. If you want someone to follow, jump onto that cartoon. I mean, it did have some stuff for kids, but the tone of the show was a little mature.
Yeah, it was kind of dark. Yeah,
it was really. I loved it. But it wasn't like too dark. It wasn't like, to where no one, like no little kid could watch it and have nightmares over it. But it was, I want to say it was about as dark as Clone Wars. I watched a couple episodes of Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Clone Wars, like people died in that series.
Oh, really?
There was no coming back.
I didn't. I've never seen Clone Wars.
It's not a bad series. I mean, I watched a couple episodes. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
This was on Cartoon Network. Yeah, troopers getting killed by lasers, yes, and they don't show any blood or guts, but come on, they're not moving, dude.
Yeah.
But no, and we also have, speaking of the whole Green Lantern thing right there, what really killed that series, actually, it's been conflicting reports on what killed that series. Part of it was because of the fact that they didn't have a toy line. Mattel, who's the exclusive holder of the toy rights for DC's anything, what happened was stores were reporting that they still had all those Green Lantern movie figures on the shelf. And those were terrible. In fact, pretty much after the show, I'll throw a picture of the Hal Jordan that I have from that line, and you'll see exactly on why these things were peg warmed, but they were terrible. They didn't move. I was like, how is a kid supposed to enjoy this? I mean, I got them because I wanted a Green Lantern that fit with my Marvel universe, which if you haven't seen any Marvel universes in stores, they're like they're about the same size as G.I. Joes, but they have about their superheroes. They're like Captain America and all them. Really cool line for people who just want to collect them. But yeah, they had so many of those on shelves. Stores weren't interested in them even doing a toy line. And of course, with a cartoon, that's where a lot of the marketing goes to, is how can we market it toward kids?
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's the bread and butter.
And that's too bad, because just like you said, is like if that's really what it was that killed that show, that's too bad for the fans, because it's that's one of the shows that I'll throw on at night, like when I'm just trying to go to sleep or something. I kick it on and there it is and it plays, and I don't know. I love it as background.
Watch Young Justice as well. That's a really good series. It takes all the sidekicks, like Robin and Superboy. Well, Superboy's his own character, and that's a really good series itself too. It aired right after or right before Green Lantern. Those two both got screwed out of anything, because they had a great story. It was it was pretty good. I guess I can't really say anything without spoiling anything. I've watched like a few episodes. I haven't finished watching. I'm still watching that and Justice League Unlimited. So I mean, it's a really good show to watch. I strongly recommend it. It's on Netflix. Both seasons of Young Justice are on there, as well as Green Lantern.
Yep. Highly recommend you check those out. Anyway, I'm sorry. I think I got us off track here. We were talking about Robert Downey Jr. and
yes. Yes. What Marvel's plan is, if they ever have to recast Robert Downey Jr., what I'm happy about, and this is something that is so rare, especially with comic movies, is that when an actor is not able to come back, they just reboot it. With Iron Man, it's so core to this whole Marvel Cinematic Universe, they can't reboot these franchises. They can't. Once a movie happens, it happens. They can't change it, because that means they have to change the history of everything.
Yeah.
So how they're eyeing the role of Iron Man / Tony Stark is they're kind of seeing it like James Bond, to where they can get another actor in.
Yeah.
If need be. I mean, because Robert Downey Jr. right now, he's 49. And during the filming of Iron Man 3, he hurt his ankle like really bad doing a stunt. I think it was the scene where they were blowing up the Malibu house. I think he took like a wrong step and he hurt his ankle. He was out for a good several weeks. But personally, I hope if they do an Iron Man 4, Robert Downey Jr. does come back. I mean, he's gold. I mean, you put him in the role as Iron Man, you have a movie.
You know,
I mean,
actually,
suck.
It's funny that I say that because I can't imagine another actor playing him in a movie where I've listened to plenty of other actors voice him in animated shows and stuff, and the only voice that I've heard, and I'm sorry I don't know the guy's name, but it's the one in the Avengers Assemble. I don't really care for that guy's voice.
Yes, that is Adrian. I can't pronounce his last name. It's Adrian Pasadar or something. He was on a show called Heroes. If you he played Nathan Petrelli. If you watched Heroes.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, that's him. That's Nathan Petrelli.
It was Nathan. Wait a minute. Nathan was the guy. He was he could hear he could hear your thoughts or something, right?
Yes. No. He could fly.
Nathan. Oh, Nathan. Oh, the
Nathan,
older brother. The older brother.
Yes.
Okay. Huh,
Yeah, he was good.
him.
I was like, he's a really good voice.
Yeah, I didn't realize. Okay. Wow.
Recently, he's really good. I like him. Speaking of stuff on Netflix, actually, Stephen S. DeKnight, he's the showrunner for Netflix and Marvel Studios' Daredevil, which is supposed to come out next year. Which, like I said, the Marvel panel might be happening tonight. If you guys hear anything, drop it in the event page. I'd be glad to kind of look over it. But apparently, the show will have a gritty 1970s New York feel. I'm not sure exactly what he means by that, but from how I'm picturing it, it's kind of like that raw police drama, like those really dark 70s movies, where they had crime everywhere. The cops were there, but they were like about as useful as a guy with sticks that gets guns. I mean, that's how I'm kind of seeing it, kind of like a Dirty Harry type feel. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but I'm excited about it because we're going to get a Marvel Studios Daredevil. And so right now the cast is rounding out pretty nicely. Right now it currently stars Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock in Daredevil. Vincent D'Onofrio, I'm butchering his name, just so you know. I'm bad with names if you guys haven't picked that up yet.
D'Onofrio. It's D'Onofrio. Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey,
well,
Vincent D'Onofrio? Vincent D'Onofrio from around the corner. Yeah, I heard he was going to be playing Frank Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin.
I hope he doesn't sound like that in the series.
Hey, I'm going to tell you like this. My name is Wilson Fisk, but if you call me Wilson Fisk, I'm going to put my fist down your throat because I'm the Kingpin.
Hey,
I saw you leaning up against my Monte Carlo. You come down. I'm going to come down there with my two buddies, Carmine, Paulie, and Stush, and we're going to beat your ass.
Yeah. Let's hope not, because the Kingpin was played in the Daredevil movie originally by Michael Clark Duncan, or Michael Duncan Clark. I always get those two names mixed up.
Yeah.
But he passed away here recently, and
that's
he's a great actor. He's really cool.
Yeah, he was a really good actor.
He owned that role.
He did.
I felt intimidated by him.
Who was the guy who played Marcellus Wallace in Pulp Fiction?
That was Ving Rhames.
Okay.
Ving Rhames.
Yeah. I can probably imagine him. I can probably imagine him being it.
Both tall, a deep voice, huge.
Yeah.
Cool guys.
Then definitely does not look like a bitch.
Good line drop. Very good line drop.
but
oh man,
I could see him being the Kingpin.
Yeah. And some things I liked a black Kingpin because he was intimidating. I always thought Wilson Fisk looked kind of weird. I thought he was because there's another Marvel character named Egghead, and I always thought Kingpin and Egghead were the same person. But no, I mean, because Kingpin, he's this really this really huge white guy who's bald, of course, but he wears like at least in the 90s and in the old Spider-Man cartoon, he had like purple pants, white and a white like dress coat, and he had like a cane.
He was dapper.
But what's cool about him, despite his size,
He was a dapper gentleman.
He was like a 3rd-degree black belt. So that guy could kick some booty. He can move.
Could kick some booty.
But I'll start. Yeah, I said he can kick some booty. He can kick some booty. Eldon Henson of Mighty Ducks fame. He's
Eldon Henson.
Foggy Nelson, which is Matt Murdock's best friend, and Deborah Ann Wool as Karen Page, which we discussed. Was it last week?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah, it was last week because she got announced, and she'll be the love interest of Daredevil in that movie, in that miniseries. Which everybody found out that 404 and I have a thing for redheads. Go figure.
Oh yeah.
That was the True Blood star that we talked about last week. Let's see. Sony announced that they are moving forward with Amazing Spider-Man 3.
So you were saying Eldon Henson. What did you say about him? He was
from. I think he was in all 3 of them, actually, of the Mighty Ducks. He played.
That's right, the Mighty Ducks. That's what it was. JJ. Oh, damn it! I can't think of the guy's name. He was in Fringe.
Oh, Joshua Jackson.
Joshua Jackson. Yeah. See, I knew it was JJ.
Yeah.
You know, he was on
from Mighty Ducks.
He was on Dawson's Creek, which was actually filmed in Wilmington, North Carolina, which is only a few hours from here. So he actually had.
Does that mean you met the Beak?
I'm sorry?
Did you get to meet the Beak?
No.
James
no.
Van.
No, I would have never meet the Beak. No, I didn't. I wasn't much of a Dawson's Creek fan or anything like that. I didn't know any of this until just a few years ago, anyway. But yeah. So JJ is an avid hockey player, obviously from being back, from Mighty Ducks and everything. He still played. So he was a big Carolina Hurricanes fan. So he would come here to Raleigh and come and see Canes games and stuff. And since he played, every now and then when he was in town, he showed up at one of the local ice rinks where I played. I was a goaltender, and so I actually got to play hockey against him, Joshua Jackson. It was just pickup hockey and everything. But I'll tell you what, man, the boy's got some skills, but I still shut him down.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's nice little bragging rights where you get to shut down a celebrity.
It is, yeah. He gave me a little, hey man, nice stop, and I was like, oh, that's cool, And the thing was, I didn't have any clue who he was.
Yeah.
It wasn't until after we were done and all showered and we're leaving and stuff. My buddy's like, did you know who that was? And I was like, no. He's like, yeah, that was the dude from Dawson's Creek.
That's freaking awesome. That's an awesome story.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry, you were talking about Sony announcing moving forward with Spider-Man 3.
Spider-Man 3, yeah. Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 2 didn't perform as well as they were hoping. And don't get me wrong. It was a good movie. It just felt a little overcrowded. Because they were setting up for the Sinister Six movie, which is based on 6 villains, which I'm not sure which ones they're going to go with, but I know of I guess 2 right now that they're going with, like Rhino and Green Goblin. So I mean, Sony finally gave a window on when you're going to see this. Well, actually, it's a release date of November 16th, 2016. So that's 2 years away. Less than 2 years, actually. It's like a year and a half. But what sucks is 2016 was supposed to be when Amazing Spider-Man 3 was going to kind of try to make its release then. But they're pushing that until sometime in 2018.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because they want to do Sinister Six and they want to do Venom, which, I mean, yeah, Sony kind of has the bad end of the stick on this one. Marvel Studios has pretty much everyone else. Fox only has Fantastic Four and X-Men, and anyone who's been paying attention to the hot sheets about Fantastic Four knows they're already screwing the pooch on that one. Really? And they already have a sequel lined up for that one, and I'm sorry, I think Fantastic Four is dead on arrival, in my opinion. Yeah. But with Spider-Man 3, they were kind of taking another approach at it, because Sony only has this one property, which means you're not going to see Captain America or anybody teaming up to come save Spider-Man when the Sinister Six attacks. I mean, it's going to be hard to see Spider-Man take down all 6 of these villains. He's done it in the comics multiple times by himself, but seeing that on screen is going to be a lot to handle, I think.
You know, sometimes, you know, with some of these movies, it seems like as these movies roll on and you have more and more sequels, it's like they try to jam more and more into a movie, and they muck it all up because they do that. And I think that the original Batman series of movies was a perfect example of that. By what was that last one, Batman and Robin? There was the Riddler, Two-Face, and Mr. Freeze.
No. Batman and Robin had that was Batman Forever. Batman Forever had Riddler and Two-Face, which wasn't too bad. Too bad.
Yeah, but when Jim Carrey was embarrassing, but okay, so it was in the next one. But Mr. Freeze, Poison Ivy, and Bane. It's like when you start piling on the villains, and you have to have more than one, or when you have to have more than 2, because I could see needing 2 for a movie, so you have like side story or whatever, something like that. But by having 2 villains, you don't have to deal with putting a crappy love interest into a story that nobody wants to see anyway, that is shoehorned in there that nobody cares about, you know. But when you start putting more and more of those villains that they have to go after, it's like they know that the series is on its way out, and they're trying to throw in as much shit as they wanted to cover because they know they're not doing another movie after this. You know? Well, again, my opinion.
Well, Amazing Spider-Man did so well. The first one did so well. Despite it being a reboot, it did so well. Sony was like, okay, we got something here. We can branch off of this. We'll do Amazing Spider-Man 2, which is going to be, you know, even better, which it was. It was a good movie. But like the last 20 minutes of that movie could have been trimmed off and saved until part 3. Yeah. But
you know, Amazing Spider-Man was a very good movie. I remember seeing that and was just I had no expectations for it, and I was very impressed with it.
I was scared because that first trailer I saw, it showed like Peter Parker walking down the hallway. It was set to like some really like kind of depressing music where he's walking down, and I was like, oh, they're making him emo. They're making him they're making him dark for no reason. And Peter Parker's not a dark character. I mean, he has some angst, but I mean, he's not like just brooding.
Yeah, I didn't see him as being dark. I saw him
being Superman mythology from the other day, from a couple weeks ago. You can't make a guy who wears red and blue tights depressing. It's impossible. No, but like I went and saw the movie. It blew me away. I loved it. Like the scene with the cranes. I still get a little tear in my eye. I'm like, man, that's amazing. No pun intended. but Spider-Man, but Amazing Spider-Man 2 was definitely it was definitely falling in the mythos that a hero has to fall before they can rise again. And that's what I love about comics and comic movies and everything. The hero has to fall before they can rise again. Mm-hmm. That's a writing motif. That's in everything. Even in regular movies, the hero has to fail before they can rise again. Spider-Man 2 was definitely the fall point for Spider-Man to get back up. But with Sinister Six, them doing a whole movie on just surrounded by a bunch of villains, it bothers me. I'm like, how can you do it? I mean, Maleficent, which was released back in May as well, I went to go watch that movie just on curiosity of how do you do a movie based on a villain? And I saw that one. It turned out to be really good. And I'm like, okay, I hope Sony watched this because I want to see how they do 6 villains on the screen at once with no Spider-Man. Spider-Man's not going to be in this movie. So how they market it's going to be a marketing genius scheme. That's all I got to say. But with Spider-Man 3, it's definitely going to be the clash between the Sinister Six and Spider-Man.
That's an interesting. That's an interesting idea to think about. Is like, you know, let's not have a hero. Let's have these 6, you know, 6 of the evil squaring off against each other.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's the downfall of the Sinister Six. Even in comics, their egos get to the best of them. It's like Doc Octopus, Green Goblin, Electro, or Shocker, whatever they want to slide in there. Scorpion. All these people have freaking egos the size of New York, and they're trying to step on each other's toes while all trying to team up to take out Spider-Man. They should win because all 6 of them are more powerful than Spider-Man. They should win, but no, their egos always step on each other. So I mean, it's some weird stuff, but we'll definitely see what happens in 2016 when that movie rolls around. I mean, if that franchise tanks, at least we know there's a clause in there that Spider-Man could at least come back over to Marvel Studios. So that's a plus. For you guys, I mean, for anyone who has been paying attention to some game stuff out there, Disney Infinity by Disney, it's a collectible, you know, card game type thing. No, sorry, not card game, but like figures. If you go to the stores, you'll see like those Skylanders. But this one's done for the Marvel one. This is the second version they're doing. It's called Disney Infinity 2.0. It's mainly featured for a bunch of for Marvel fans, really, with a couple of Disney characters being added in. The big one is the Avengers playset, but the one that got announced yesterday was the Guardians of the Galaxy playset, which of course ties in. Well, it doesn't really tie into the movie. But the characters are all based on the movie versions. And I posted the trailer in the event page. Go check it out. Really, really fun stuff. I'm excited. It looks fun. I play that with my niece. It's really, really, really fun. I mean, I guess there's no other way I can say it. It's something you can just kick up and play. It's fun. Really, there's no other way I can describe Disney Infinity besides it's fun. Entertainment Weekly, they've been busy today. They've been busy this week. They released a photo from the set of Arrow. The actor named Colton Hayes, who plays Roy Harper on the show. He's decked out in his clothes for a character he's playing named Arsenal, which is one of names the character has gone by, also known as Speedy and Red Arrow. He was Green Arrow's sidekick, if you're not catching the drift there. But he looks awesome. Like, I watched the series. I love this series. It's a great show to just pick up without having any knowledge of who Green Arrow is. They kind of give you a version of Arrow you just were not really expecting, and they run with it. They do their own thing with it. It's lovely. And sad thing is, I want this Arrow to be in involved in the movies, but sadly Jeff Johns, the chief creative officer of DC, he said the movies and the TV shows will never cross over, that they are their own entities, which is a big slap in the face, really, in my opinion. I mean, because if they let Stephen Amell, who plays Arrow, and Grant Gustin, who's going to be playing the Flash this fall, if they let them actually show up, they don't have to work in a movie-long introduction for them, or even try to squeeze time into a Justice League movie to get them in. That the fans of the series already know who they are. You'll get those people in there. And you could just throw in like 5 minutes of news coverage. Like, Batman's been following Arrow and Flash, because like he always does, he watches people all the time.
Because he's always on the job, man.
Yeah, exactly. And also coming to the Flash this fall, Prison Break and Resident Evil Afterlife's Wentworth Miller. He's been casted as Captain Cold in the Flash series. Captain Cold in the Super Friends series from like the 70s or the 80s. He has he looked like a really terrible Iceman from Mega Man. Like he had the Eskimo jacket on and little shades. It was really terrible. But no, I want to see how they do a modern take on Captain Cold. It's gonna be pretty fun. Two things that really kind of sparked out for me during this Comic-Con week. Al Simmons, if anyone's ever from the 90s ever read the Spawn book, he's returning to the books. Todd McFarlane is very proud of this, and it's a series. I didn't even think the series was still going, to be honest with you. But in Spawn number 250, Al Simmons, who's been replaced as Spawn for a while by a guy named Jim Downing, he'll be back in Raising Hell, which is always a good thing. It's cool seeing an old hero come back, especially in the climate right now where everything's changing. Like in Marvel last week, we talked about the big three changing. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely cool to see an old character come back from the past, to kind of show that there was some stability still from everything. So Spawn's a really interesting character, but as the series went on, I think they changed some of his things. Because originally he had a belt, he had a timer that if he used up all his necro energy, he would go back to hell, and that was it. He wouldn't be able to come back. So pretty much everything he did, either like if he had to heal, it caused magic. The movie kind of touched on that. People said it sucked. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, it was okay.
Yeah, it was definitely okay. You know what? I would bet that a reboot of Spawn now would be phenomenal with the abilities that they would have on.
Don't
hand.
tell Todd McFarlane that he's already working on that, and he's already going about it the bad way. He wants to do a horror movie version of it. He wants to do it on $10 million, which is impossible.
That's not going to happen.
He wants to put. Yeah, it's already bad.
Yeah.
So hopefully,
I really like the animated.
Kevin Feige we'll talk to him. It's like, first of all, you're doing it wrong. I was like, let's show you how to really do it, okay? Because they took a gamble on Iron Man, and here we are, like several years later, and we're having another Avengers movie that's going to make so much money. It's ridiculous. Yeah. And Disney also has another movie slated for summer of 2017. If any Pirates fans are out there, we definitely have a new Pirates of the Caribbean. It's Pirates of the Caribbean's Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Oh, no, the Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Yeah, I mean, so Johnny Depp is coming back, of course, so rest your dreamy eyes on him, I guess.
Yeah, ladies, get your panties ready.
Yeah, they're gonna hit the ground as soon as they hear him go, "Hello, my name is Jack Sparrow."
Oh, it's Jack Sparrow. Oh, but you have heard of me, haven't you? Well, that's more Austin Powers.
That's Austin Powers.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, that's a cameo. Oh god, that's a crossover I don't ever want to envision.
My name is Richard Cunningham, and this is my wife, Oprah.
Yesterday, actually, a lot of comic book stores around the nation, they celebrated Batman's 75th. Yeah, Batman is 75 years old.
75. I love Batman.
Good for his age.
Batman is definitely one of my favorites, and which is kind of odd. I'm not really sure why he's turned into one of my favorite characters, but it's just one of those ones where I'm enthralled by it. Like, I've been watching that animated series on Amazon, and I'm almost done with season 4, and I find myself. Like I was going on marathons of watching it, and now I find myself like trying to only watch it once in a while because I don't. I'm trying to spread it out so it's not over so fast. But you know,
Well,
I'm the type that I'll rewatch it. When it's over, I'll start right back at episode 1 and keep on and run right through them all again.
I got you on that one. I mean, liking Batman nowadays, because everyone loves Batman because he's a badass. I mean, yeah, he can take down the entire Justice. Batman is a lot deeper of a character than people just like. He's more than just brawn. I mean, and the guy's smart. I mean, he worked his ass off and everything. So, I mean, he's worked himself to the pink of human, condition. I mean, he's by far he's as far from being just a regular human as you can actually give him credit for. I don't know why they don't give him the superhero title.
Yeah, without being because he's not a meta human. Yeah, he's not a meta. So
yeah, but
just his whole storyline and just the whole, the Batman storyline is one of those ones where, let's say humanity got wiped out and there was only a few things that survived, and it's kind of like one of those things where they have to start over. And this is how I kind of think the Bible got started, is that maybe there were some books left over at some point. But in my version of it, is like the only books that got left over are like the Batman storylines. There'd be a whole religion based on it. Would that not be the craziest thing ever?
That would be really messed up. That's a really weird.
It wouldn't be
weird, but
because I mean, think about it. You got Batman. He's your protagonist, and then you've got the Joker, who's going to be your main antagonist. But they all have their own disciples and their henchmen and that kind of stuff. That It's the classic.
When you put it that way, it's almost kind of poetic in a way.
I know, it's the classic. It's the classic good versus evil. I mean, they're always the same storyline or the same theme to it. It's just how do you get from point A to point B, and how many kick-ass martial art moves are you going to whip out during that time? And how many
batteries you can throw?
Yeah, and how many parents are you going to lose when you're a kid? that's
what being a hero gets to suck around Father's Day. It's like everyone's dad dies.
Yeah, yeah, but with Bruce Wayne, it's like, how sad can you really feel for an ultra billionaire?
Yeah, I was like, my parents died, but hey, I got a bunch of money. Yeah. We'll be back to actually talk about more about Batman in just a few minutes. We're going to take a quick little break, so stick around. And if you want, throw in some of your favorite Batman moments in the chat box here in the page, or throw it in the event page. We'll be glad to kind of listen. We might even pick the best one and read them on the air. You never know. We're crazy that way.
Oh, hey, before we hit the break, let me just let everybody know is that if you want to call in and talk to us for a little bit, you can call us at 813-642-7922. And just again, the number is 813. The number is 813-642-7922. That number again is 813-642-7922. Be the 10th caller and win absolutely nothing.
Our praise.
Our praise.
We'll be back in a few minutes, guys.
Our love and respect.
We hope you were enjoying the Nerd Cube on NWR. Stay tuned for more, right after this.
nice. People come to me for kindness and advice. I can hold my liquor, I can hold my tongue. I shoot a little pool, but I never shoot a gun. But sometimes, in a private hour, I'm that kid with the rifle, shooting from the tower. Red high, red high, oh red high, red high. The future of my world and all my little plans. If it all fails, well I think I'll understand. But if I drop my pen or barely miss my train, inside I turn privately insane. Because sometimes when I'm by myself, I tear it all to pieces, starting with myself. Red high, red high, oh red high, red high. Let's talk about it, let's all be fair. Let's put it down on paper as if there's someone here who really cares. I know what's important. Right is never wrong. But it's a cage of animals, this place where I belong. Yes, I'll always laugh. That's your stupid jokes. I carry you along the next time you are broke. But sometimes in my dreams, I finally speak my mind and everybody screams. Red high, red high, oh red high, red high. I can be so nice, I can be so kind. People come to me for my peaceful state of mind. But sometimes in my head, I'm the king and at my word, everybody's dead. Red high, red high, oh red high, red high, red high, red high, oh red high, oh red high.
And now, back to the show.
It's as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Okay, guys, that was a terrible transition, but we're back on the Nerd Cube. This is 404, and we got Havok with us.
Oh my gosh.
I know, that was awful. Sorry.
I can't even talk straight right now.
And by the way, to our listeners that were listening during the break, I apologize for that one little ad there. That I'm not really even going to repeat what it was about. You know, the good news is this is internet radio, so that we can say and pretty much do anything we want. But you know, that was a little bit of poor taste and not really in Nerd Cube style. So I'm gonna make sure that never plays again during our show.
I was, because while we were on break, I was listening to everything. I just got back, and I got back in the booth, and I was like, "What is playing right now?" So I sent 404 a message. It was like,
"Yep, you still there, buddy?" Uh-oh. And this is one of the awesome things about internet radio too, is that we do this via Skype. And I think he's back with us, but occasionally Skype likes to drop our call. And you still there, bud?
I'm here. Thanks,
There he
Skype. Thanks.
Thanks, Obama.
Oh, okay. All right. So before we left you guys, we were talking about Batman because it was the 75th anniversary. This guy's been around forever. At my local comic book store, Bankston's Cards and Comics, with purchase of a Batman picture, purchase, you get a free mask, which I took a picture of it. It's on the event page. Let's see, and you got a reprinting of Detective Comics.
Oh my god, I want one of those masks so bad.
Oh, here it is. Sorry. I had to remember it exactly. I'm surprised I don't remember off the top of my head. Detective Comics number 27. You get a reprint of that. Batman's first appearance.
Nice.
So I'm like, that's a pretty nice little thing. I mean, pretty much comic stores all over the nation were getting in on this.
Yeah.
It was a really fun celebration. It felt very Batman-y.
I want one of those masks really bad.
Oh no! I mean, like my comic book store did. I don't know if anyone else's local comic book store was doing something for Batman. I know there was a lot of places doing it. But so like, and you were talking about how Batman's your favorite character.
Mm-hmm.
Who's been your favorite Batman on film?
On film?
Yeah, on film.
Well, you know, it just depends on what we're talking about. Because I mean, Michael Keaton was the original, and you know, I remember whenever I heard when I heard his name, I was like, really, Michael Keaton? And I was pretty young then, so it was like, even then for me to go, really, Michael Keaton? But he knocked it out of the park. As far as what those movies were, and for the time that they came out. You know, and as they progressed and the other actors that stepped into the roles, into that particular world movie roles, I would say I actually kind of liked Val Kilmer because of the way he just handles himself, and the way he handled himself as Bruce Wayne, I thought was pretty badass, you know?
Thank you. I'm so glad I'm not the only one who thinks that way. Yeah. I mean, he was a good Batman, and he was but I thought he was a really good Bruce Wayne. He had that swagger to him. He had that charm to him. He had the look.
Yeah.
And then here recently he's become, chubby. I have a better just for the ladies out there, just to put that in comparison, I'm a kind of a bigger dude. This guy, it's like he is like two of me right now, and I gotta say, it's like that's how right.
The mighty have fallen.
I'm one half Val Kilmer.
How the mighty have fallen, man. You know,
into a big tub of Twinkies. It's
like, and how did, as a guy who's in Hollywood, he's an actor. For God's sake, he's an actor. Yeah, he was in Top Gun, and I mean, as homoerotic as that movie really was, I mean, the dude was ripped, you know, and just whatever. But okay, so and then after that, so after those Batman movies, well, then you have Christian Bale.
Yeah,
and. Where are the drugs? Where are they taking the drugs?
Do you need a lozenge?
Rachel. And you know, somebody made a really good point. Somebody made a really good point. Why are you still doing the voice when they know who you are?
Yes.
They know you're Bruce Wayne. Why are you still doing the voice? You know.
Oh, I mean, like last movie, like everyone knew who he was. They're like, "You're Bruce Wayne, aren't you?" No, maybe.
I don't know. Yes. Hey, you know, and I mean, that's kind of a problem I've always had with a lot of these movies, of the movie versions of superheroes, is that there seems to be too many people who know who he is, and there's
not much of a secret identity if it's not a secret.
Exactly, and I'm sorry, and it's happened in so many superhero movies, especially Spider-Man 2, when masks come off. No.
Oh my God!
No.
The subway. All his villains knew who he was.
Yeah. There was a whole sub full of people who knew it. I mean, it was kind of funny. There were the one dude was like, "Oh man,
cell phone camera."
Yeah, I knew he was white, or something like that. That was funny, but it's just no, that does not happen. I mean, he may reveal himself to to a villain or something before the villain dies, but no,
it's like
masks do not come off. And I mean, whoever was the person who writes it into the script as they're doing it, I hope that they realize that they are writing their place into hell. They're writing they're putting their signature right into hell for doing that. Because
I remember that. It's like, I'm glad you brought that up, because of the fact that I bought all 3 Spider-Man movies, the ones by Sam Raimi, and I was like, he did take his mask off quite a lot.
Yeah.
Like, all the time. It's like, here, let me take my mask off.
Yeah.
Here, let me take my mask off.
Spider-Man does not do that. I mean, occasionally or something like that, but it's so rare that it happens. And, that makes me insane. And when he
took his mask off as much as Vin Diesel took his shirt off in Fast and the Furious 1.
But when Michael Keaton did it in the second Batman and revealed himself to the Penguin, of all people, I was just like this. And when he pulled his mask off, and it was like so obvious that it was just like rubber. I was like, you just ruined something classic about this character, and just, I don't know. It's like by doing that, they brought a little too much realism to this fantasy world, and then
comes the Batman Begins, and then that just took your realism and said, you know what, we're gonna give him a tank. I mean, I like the Tumbler from Batman Begins.
Yeah, definitely.
It wasn't a Batmobile, though. That wasn't a Batmobile.
No, it was not. That was not a Batmobile.
Tank.
Yeah.
Now, my favorite Batmobile, aside from the '89, which is my number one, but if I had to choose one, it was the Batman Forever Batmobile. That thing just was sweet. It had lights everywhere. I wanted that thing as a toy, man. I really did. I still want that thing. If I could find it, at like a market or something, I'm buying that damn thing.
the ones with the giant fins on, especially with the one big fin right down the back. I remember seeing the pictures of that before it came out, and I was like, oh man, you guys are getting ridiculous with this. I was like, Batman is low profile. He's low profile. And you're gonna put a giant black wing and then have one that's got lights blasting all over it. Ugh, no.
Well, he could have had a Hummer. He could have a big Batman Hummer.
That's true. That's true.
Spinning bat rims.
And that's very true. But you know what I do like about what they did with the excuse me, I got a cough. Okay. What I do like about what they did with the Dark Knight movies is keeping the realism about it, where what else could you have for a Batmobile in a world like that? Is that you're still based in reality. I mean, the Dark Knight Rises stands without, just there's so many plot holes about nuclear bombs and bullshit like that
Yes.
All right, well, it's a comic movie, so you got to have some sort of massive threat.
Yeah, it's like, now you want to backtrack.
And
you spent 2.5 movies putting us in this realistic world, and now we have the Bat coming in. It's like this big giant Terminator, Skynet looking machine comes flying in.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, now you want to call it a comic book movie? All right, I see what you did there, Nolan.
And big shout out to my hometown of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, because a lot of those shots of that bat, and why they didn't call it the Batwing is beyond me, but a lot of those
Morgan
shots,
Freeman said it's the Bat. It's law. Once Morgan Freeman says it, it's law.
Yeah, it's true.
Everyone knows.
All of the shots that they did with that, where they're doing the scenes in the city area with the bat and everything, that was all shot in downtown Pittsburgh. I personally have spent a lot of time on the streets right there where they were filming all that. I mean, not while they were filming it, but I've been up and down those streets and those alleyways a million times back in the day. And it's so cool to see something like that on film, especially with a character and a story that I love so much, that to just see something that's personal to me on film like that, you know, it brings a tear to my eye.
You know what? You know what I have to say for my claim of fame for my hometown? There was a movie starring Natalie Portman called Where the Heart Is. There's a scene where she's walking through like the school looking for the love interest of the movie. Mm-hmm. They filmed it in my hometown at the big university, Baylor University in Waco, Texas. They filmed it here, and I'm like, man, I could have met Natalie Portman then. She was a nobody.
Yeah.
Damn it, I missed my chances. One day, Natalie. One day.
You know, and actually, in the Dark Knight, or in the Dark Knight Rises, that's Hines Ward and that's Hines Field that gets blown up in by Bane, right downtown there, and also that the scene that I know you see it a lot in like in internet memes where it's Batman and Bane are like just there's a big fight scene going on and they're kind of like out on these steps in front of these big pillars. That's right on the CMU campus.
That's pretty. You know, that's what I love about movie magic. I mean, that's what I like to call any behind the scenes stuff. I like when it comes. When it comes to DVDs, I'll watch the behind the scenes. Excuse me. I'll watch the behind the scenes stuff. I love that stuff. I love how they go from concept to final product. Yeah. And as much as I make fun of the Nolan movies a lot, which I do that a lot, mm-hmm. I respect the camera angles he used. I respect a lot of the locations he used. How my only complaint is in Dark Knight Rises. And I think Dark Knight had some of that same issue with me, is that it didn't look like Gotham. It looked like Chicago, and it looked like Pittsburgh. It didn't look like Gotham. Well, if that makes any sense.
I kind of disagree with that, and the reason why is because I don't know Chicago as well as I do Pittsburgh, because I've spent a lot of time in downtown Pittsburgh, and I know what that city looks like from many different angles. And I could definitely tell where they were all the time, in those shots. But then when they would do the real wide shots and they would pull away, and obviously it was more CGI and stuff where they kind of had more real city stuff in the foreground, but most of where it sort of fades out into the background imagery, it looked like some different kind of city. To me, it didn't look like anything I'd ever seen before, but I just knew that there were
Dark Knight movies in a mixture of both Pittsburgh and Chicago.
Yeah,
I mean, because of the fact that because Chicago was also like, oh yeah, we got a big movie film in here, yay! Yeah, we get a tax break.
No. But one last thing about that fight scene, the Batman Bane fight scene that happened on those steps, is that I also had a huge problem with that scene because of the fact that it happened in broad daylight. When have you ever seen Batman in the daytime? Never.
Justice League.
All right. That's, you know what? Fair enough.
He will only come out of the daytime to go hang with his friends. And he's doing stuff by himself, fighting crime in Gotham. He's like, no, I only work during the day. Dude, I sleep at night. I sleep during the day. I only work at night. Sorry.
I mean, I've been watching the original animated series here, and Batman does not go out in the daytime, man. It is night every time. It's so
Justice League.
Yeah, Justice League. Well, because he's working on a team. He's working there as a team, and the whole team. That's 24 hours.
Yeah.
So that's a little different.
Yes,
That's a little different, but it kind of for me, the whole Batman in the daytime falls into the same category of making mistakes with a character, such as taking off his mask or revealing himself to people and stuff. It's like, you know, I get it that you have to do that in some places, especially in a movie, because you never know if this movie's going to tank or not, and if this is ever going to come back. So you want to try to tie up loose ends, but still leave things open-ended in case there is another one.
Actors. That's the thing, is it also comes to the actors too. I mean, because the actors, they want to put their face on there. I mean, look at a lot of the billboards for the Avengers. Captain America wears a mask a lot, but he took off his mask a lot. So I mean, it depends. It's more of a pick or choose thing. Well, but in movies, the actors don't want to be behind a mask all the time. They want to get their face out there.
Yeah, but the thing with Captain America is even as the character, everybody knows who Steve Rogers is. It wasn't there. Yeah. There was no secret. And actually, and that's kind of one of the things that I liked about Tony Stark too. And I'm really glad that's how they addressed it in the movies. He's just like, you know what? Yep, it's me, and I'm doing.
You know what's sad is. Because I read a few issues of like the original Iron Man comic. I'm like, how the hell are you gonna hide this big old suit? How do you hide this big old suit, pretending to be Tony Stark and then secretly being Iron Man? I'm like, there's a lot of things I can choke down when it comes to comics.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, and that's probably one of the reasons why. That's probably reasons why the story went the way it did. You know,
you know what? I am Iron Man. There you go.
And you know what? And because I'm super freaking rich, it's easy for me to make all of this happen anytime I want. So, you know, I mean, that seems to be the key to being a superhero. To being a really effective superhero is to be super rich.
Yeah, it's like that meme I've seen before. It's like Batman and Iron Man. It's being rich, the ultimate superpower.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, guys, we're gonna go ahead and start wrapping it up tonight. We'll be back. Hopefully, we might even have Abbs back next week. Maybe. I believe she's listening. So we'll definitely be.
You should stretch this out for just a little bit longer.
Oh, you think so?
For just a couple of seconds, I'm saying maybe. Since I had absolutely no warning that this was going to happen.
Uh-oh, my bad.
Someone.
Yeah, that's right, people.
Someone needs to learn radio etiquette.
Someone needs to know to do it live.
Well, you know, this exit of our show is going to be just as awesome as our return from break.
It's just gonna go. It's gonna end like the end of The Sopranos.
Yeah, we're gonna fade to black. Well, did we cover everything?
We did actually. I mean, we've been done with everything. We've just been kind of talking, taking up the airways, hoping everybody's listening to our Batman rant.
You know,
and you want to call in.
And I kind of apologize. There is that I guess I sort of took over the second half of the show here and.
Yeah,
letting you get a word in. You know what? I mean, well, do you have a few minutes? Do you need to wrap it up, or do you got a few more minutes to chat?
Dude, I'm good. Hey, listeners, if you guys are still on with us, you want to give us a call? Give us a call at 813-642-7922.
Yeah.
Well, the airlines are still open. I mean, we'll definitely take a call.
The lines are open.
We'll talk
That's, you know, and something I wanted to bring up, man, and I love the ability to do it here. Is with you in particular, is that I recently had a new addition to my home entertainment family.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Did you bring home a bouncing baby badassness?
I did. A bouncing baby PS4. Yes, I did, and I'm super excited about it, man. I'm loving it.
Oh, good stuff.
Yeah.
I actually have the Xbox One and the PS4. no, I'm not like super rich and super loaded that I could do this. Luckily, my other job owed me money, and I got it. So I knew I was going to have the money later. I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to buy them both. Yeah, I mean, you told me about that yesterday, and sad thing is I haven't played my PS4 in like forever because I have no one to play with, especially on a game called on DC Universe Online. It's a free game. If you have a PlayStation 3, if you have a PlayStation 4, you can download a free game. It's free to play,
and it's DC Universe
villain.
is cross-platform too, right? So if you play on either platform, when you play the game, you're still playing with your same friends, and I got all back into that and stuff too last night. I'm kind of starting over again because I picked up a new profile and everything, so my character's only at a level 4 right now. But you know, it was funny is that
that's about where my second hero is.
What's that?
So that's about where my second hero is.
Yeah. Well, on my original profile, I had like 4 characters made, and one of them was up at the like level 24, I think, and was pretty badass. But I just kind of at the time got bored with it because. Just like you says, I didn't really seem to have anybody to play with, and a lot of times I'd try to get up with somebody online, and I didn't have a headset, so I couldn't talk to them. And then I realized that they were stupid because all they kept doing was trying to fight me, and I was just like, "We're on the same team, you idiot."
And nobody wants to team up with you. It's like I've noticed that no one wants to team up with you. I'm like, oh, you know what? Whatever, man. Because even those ones that force you to team up with people, they don't ever want to do anything with.
Yeah.
All right. Once again, guys are trying to call in. The number is 813-642-7922. We'd love to hear from you guys.
Yeah.
Once again, 813-642-7922. And actually, 404 will actually say it in that lovely radio voice he did before we left for break.
Let's see. Well, if you'd like to call us and call in and talk to us, you can reach us on our tele. The tele number is 813-642-7922. Right.
Maybe I'll do it in my DJ Velvet voice. What's up, ladies? Call the midnight hour at 813-642-7922. This is DJ Velvet and Silky Whiskers.
Silky Whiskers.
Yeah, see, at this point of the show, we're just kind of talking. We're waiting for you guys to come talk to us.
Listeners, I'm here. I'm going to be spinning tunes all night and I'm using my sexy voice to make love to your ear vaginas.
About Batman. We're going to be talking about that.
There was a massive accident out on Highway 64 today. There's 3 people dead, and they're sexy dead. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. If you guys don't call us, we're gonna be this bored. No, I mean, let's see. I mean, pretty much getting back to the whole Comic-Con thing. I mean, that's going on all week long, well, at least for the next few days. If you guys have a Barnes and Nobles in your area, definitely go and definitely
still exist?
Go check it out. I mean, because the fact they have stuff going on all week long, they have a convention. They do have a Comic-Con type thing where you can get collectibles from. I mean, I don't know if they're from Comic-Con, if they have like certain stock that came in, but yeah, I mean, you can definitely do that. And then August 2nd, they're having Marvel Day at Barnes and Nobles. Not sure what they're doing per se, but definitely go by and check them out. And I might go do that tomorrow. Actually, let me see what they have going on.
So I think when I bought my PS4 the other day, I made the guy at the GameStop. I think I made him very happy. I don't think those guys sell a lot of systems very often. So it's like because
so if they can sell a system, they love it.
yeah. Because when I called them earlier in the day and I was just basically checking to see if they had one. Because I was looking at buying a bundled system where it would be the console, a controller, and a game. or
They didn't have any bundles for PS4?
not at that store. No.
No.
Actually, GameStop at the store doesn't do bundles, but if you can do it online, you can do it that way. But in other cases, you know, if you looked at Walmart or something, is you could get a bundle where it's the console, 2 controllers, or it's a console and 2 controllers, and sometimes maybe a game or something like that. And the guy at GameStop made a really good point, is that second controllers are a waste of money, and they're like $70. It's like an extra $70. It's a waste of money, and unless you play so hardcore that you're going to burn out your battery in a day, then maybe it might be worth it. But as far as like 2-player games and stuff and split screens, it's just most of the time it doesn't happen anymore. It's I never.
And, that's so sad. I mean, I miss on the couch co-op. I mean, when my friends come over and I have a 2-player game, I love doing that. I love playing 2-player co-op.
Well, me too. I definitely love playing that way. It's just that it's so rare that I can find anybody that wants to play and has played it before and that wants to sit down and play. And then I trash them, or it's like they're so awful that I'm just like, this isn't fun. Let's just not do this, So there, my only other option is, if I want to play multiplayer, is to do it online. And with the PS4, its social integration with online stuff is so seamless, and it's so nice. Especially there's the PlayStation app for your phone, for iPhone and Androids and stuff.
I've yet to download that thing.
What's that?
I've yet to download that thing.
Yeah, well, it's not really a big deal, but if you have PS3 or PS4, it doesn't matter. It actually is really cool to have, because you can access your friends and your messaging systems like that. So if you I have a day job, so it's like I gotta do my shit during the day, but I can get up with some of my friends and be like, hey, I'm gonna be home at lunchtime. Do you want to get in 9 holes at Tiger Woods? At 12:30, and hopefully if they're on, they get that message through there, or anyway. The social integration with that is pretty cool. You can actually do something. I haven't really played around with it enough, but it lets you do some sort of. You can use your phone as a second screen of some sort.
Yes. Like on the Xbox One, they use it for Smart Glass, and you can download it to your Droid. I believe you can do it on your iPhones too. But it works very similar to the same thing. You can send messages to your friends. Like on Xbox One, I have Dead Rising 3, and you can actually accept other missions that aren't available without the second screen. They're like little side missions that you go save this guy from a grocery store. I mean, and you get experience points by that, but you get like these little different room keys that you can unlock special rooms to get supplies and stuff out of there, like food and weapons. But of course, you also unlock certain stuff that you can call in airstrikes. With your phone, you just push it. You just push it. It brings up a map on the thing. You choose the where you want it, and you hear this big stealth bomber come by and just carpet bomb the entire area. It's great.
How I see that is working is a super cool way of working is for in the future of gaming is with like games like Grand Theft Auto. Where your character, or actually there's a whole lot of games, all the ones where you have a PD, where your character has a PDA or something like that, is that the game links up with your phone and all of that shit actually goes down on your phone. And I mean, maybe as an option kind of thing, because and now you have to look away from the screen to look down at your phone to see something that it's like you're taking your focus off of what you're trying to do and play at the same time, so I could see that being a little hindrance, but I could say I just saying is I could see that as being a little bit of a hindrance of gameplay.
Well, I mean, what sucks about a lot of this stuff is that Sony and Microsoft doing their second screen thing when Wii U came out, the gamepad had that same option. In fact, one of their launch games, Zombie U, wasn't the best game in the world. Don't get me wrong. I played the demo, but it had that realistic factor of like because you had a backpack and you would look into your backpack, and the character would look down, and then all of a sudden on your gamepad, it would show the inside of the backpack, and you're kind of going through the backpack and looking at, and but of course you had stuff going on around you because the game didn't pause unless you hit pause to go to the menu. Which is the only time it paused, which is the safe way. But what would happen though is that you would go down your backpack and you would still hear zombies walking around you. Yeah. Some of these were runners; they would run up on you. So if you were looking at your backpack in a not so safe environment, they would come attack you, which was realistic. I mean, I loved it. It was a really scary. It's the first game in a while that I've just said I was actually scared of. Besides the game, you missed out on it because you got your system so late. It's called Outlast. Like I played like 10 minutes of that game. I put it down. I was like, I can't play this game. This game is too damn creepy. Because you have no weapons. From what I've played, you have a camera, and it's on night vision, and you can see things move. I'm like, I'm good. No. If I don't have a gun to defend myself, I don't want to play this game. I don't.
Well, while we were talking there, was just something that it had occurred to me, especially because of a game like DC Universe, is that the options. Well, with PS4, it's like they moved like the start button to this little options thing that I'm not really liking the placement of that button, and the fact that you can barely even tell that it's there, so you sort of fumble it around to find it with your thumb, but when you have to hold that button down and then use your left stick to pick one of your options for your settings, or to go to your missions or something, or look at your missions and stuff. And the linkage, what I'm trying to say is I would love it if they would make it where your phone acts as the second screen for that stuff at all times. I mean, you can still access it on the screen just like you normally would, or it's just right there on your phone. And if you want to change one of your your ad, I don't know what to call them, this when you collect stuff and you get a new cape, or you get when your inventory, there you go, when you want to change that stuff around, is that it's always up on your screen, and you can quickly just tap and move and put the stuff into play right there. It does the change through. That would be so cool.
The thing is, this game's been around for like what, almost 3-4 years now.
What?
DC Universe. So I mean, this whole second screen thing. This is like, whoa, wait a minute. Yeah. Back in my day, we didn't have this stuff. We had everything on one screen. We had 3 buttons, and we were happy.
Yeah. Well, just while we're talking about it, it's just making me spark ideas of how a way for PlayStation to capitalize on using smartphones as like the second screen thing and make it part of games that could really be like the next thing to me, or it could be a completely a gimmick and a distraction like everything else. I mean, but I gotta say though, I really do like the touchpad sensor on the controller, but I don't really feel like it's useful enough. It could be a little bit smaller, and they could use a little bit more for different things. And I mean, it's still a new system. There's still so much yet to come, and I've only experienced a few games so far on it, but I really can't wait to see what happens with the PS4.
I mean, right now their library is kind of limited. Oh yeah, and they really need to get on all that. I mean, they have a few games that are, I guess, looked at as right now the best games on their thing, like Killzone, and I was really mad about the Infamous game that came out for it. I'm like, that's not Infamous. I want Cole McGrath. I want the guy from the first 2. I know he died, but damn it, I want that.
Second Son. Actually, I was a big fan of those games too. Well, the second one, not so much, but I was a big fan of that game.
I liked it because they had they knew what they were kind of doing with it. They were like, let's try something different. I mean, we're just two games in. Let's see what we can do. And Tomb Raider, the definitive edition, I would suggest getting that game. That game is fantastic. It's a fantastic game. Sequel comes out next fall. But I've never played a game where I actually saw the character development grow. Because she started out as this person who wanted to go out, see the world. She was gonna change everything, and then she gets marooned on this island, and you see her mold herself. You see her mold herself into the Lara Croft of today. I mean, you see her, learn how to fight, learn how to freaking, just fight dirty, use guns. I mean, she kills someone. The first time she kills someone, it makes her sick. Like, oh my God, what did I do?
Right.
But cool. It's really a fun game, and you see Laura become just a survivor, and that's what it was. It was her becoming the survivalist she is. No, she does not have the big giant, the big giant 90 crack that she had for. That made no sense whatsoever.
Yeah. No,
it was just there. But
they're always there.
Going through puberty, just looking like, oh God.
but they always do make them look pretty nicely proportioned. That's for sure.
Well, this lore is based off a model. I forgot what her name was, but she did the real scan for the character. Yeah, I think she even did the capture for the character as well. But I know it's modeled after a real model. From Europe, and she's really, really cool. Actually, they did an interview with her.
What did you think of the Tomb Raider movies?
I didn't watch them. I'm not the biggest Angelina Jolie fan.
Really?
Wait,
so you didn't watch it just because of her?
No, I wasn't a big Tomb Raider fan either. I didn't play any of them because I didn't have a PlayStation until late in its life cycle, and by then I was like, I don't want to play that one.
Yeah.
Because I was very picky on my games.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I never really. Well, to be honest with you, I've never really played Tomb Raider before either. But it was one of the games you could get on PlayStation Network for free for PlayStation Plus. I forget which version of it was, but and I started playing it, and I actually kind of liked it, but sometimes some of those games get a little too involved with the menus and picking up stuff, and you have to put it in your inventory and move shit around in your inventory. And
again,
what's that?
Try playing those Resident Evil games again. Oh God, you spend more time with those menus than you'd like.
Yeah, and to me that kind of takes the fun out of it. It's like I get. You want to like level up your character and do stuff with that, but sometimes this is getting too much. I just want to play. I want to go and shoot stuff, and now I forgot what I was doing because I'd spent 20 minutes trying to fuck with this and yeah. So, but anyway, so I started play. I had this free Tomb Raider game and I was playing it, and I was like, this is actually pretty interesting. I liked it. I thought the gameplay was good. And then I don't know exactly what it was. Something distracted me from it, and I started playing something else. Probably Batman.
Yeah. I mean, like a lot of my PS1 classics that I have on my PlayStation 3, I'm like, these games were great back then, but I don't know why I rebought them. I played a little bit of Final Fantasy 8. I'm like, this game was so great at one point, and then I'm just
Gear
I don't got time. I don't. It's like I don't got time to play a role playing game anymore.
Yeah.
So I bought that in a game I always wanted to play. I wanted to play the first Parasite Eve, and I bought it and then I was like, I just really don't got time to do this. It's like every role playing game I ever bought, I was like, oh man, I'm gonna play this. Yeah. I never play it. The only one I did start playing, and I haven't played it because I haven't really been on my Wii U because it's in my living room, and my niece is always on it. And I rebought Chrono Trigger from the old Super Nintendo games.
Mm-hmm.
and that game is by far still one of my favorite role-playing games, aside from Final Fantasy 4 and 6, or 2 and 3 in America. But those are Chrono Trigger is still, for a Super Nintendo game or a Super Famicom game in Japan, whatever system you want to call it on, for such a game, it was a magical experience. I mean, I've never played a game with 16-bit sprites that were so human in nature. You actually got to hear a really good story around them.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that story is really dated because the final battle, you had to go to the year 1999.
In the future, which is now the past.
Well, see, that's the thing is, there was a future place you could go to. It was the year 2300, and I'm like, yeah, that didn't happen.
Yeah. Didn't happen like that. That's for sure.
No.
You know,
man.
so
It was
something that I was, that I'm a little, well, I'd say a little more than a little upset about with the PS4 though, is that the lack of compatibility with the PlayStation 3 games, especially the ones that were digital download games, that where I bought a full version of a game online. That what I would really like to see happen is that if they do a port of those games to the PS4 format and put them available out there, is that they give, if you already own it on PS3, that they give you on PS4 either give it to us for free or at like a severe discount, like $5
when the games
or
first
less.
launched for PS4, there was like 4 or 5 games that if you bought them on PS3, you could exchange them in digitally for like $10. You buy like the extra $10 because the games were already an extra $10. You got the PS4 version of the game. Thing is that, let's say Battlefield was one of those games. Actually, Battlefield and Call of Duty Ghosts. Everything you did on those games, you lost. It was like you literally went out and bought another copy of the game. All your data was gone. It didn't carry over to PS4.
Yeah. And
I was like, you just wait an extra week. I mean, because that's what made me mad. I was like, why are you going to go buy these games? I mean, because you're getting the new system. Because I had people that still had their old systems. Like I still have my 360 and I have my PS3 because of the fact that I knew they weren't going to be backwards compatible.
Yeah. My PS3 isn't going anywhere anytime soon.
But such is that I knew people that couldn't wait an extra week or a week or two. They wanted to play Battlefield 4 and they wanted to play Call of Duty. I'm like, just wait an extra 2 weeks. You're getting the new system. Have a game for your new system. What's the point of buying a game? What's the point of buying a system if you're not going to have anything to play on it?
Actually, Havok, I've been meaning to ask you is that how big are you into those kind of games like Call of Duty and Medal of Honor? Well, that's a old reference.
Yeah. Wow, outdated. No, like I like shooters. Don't get me wrong. It has to be the right shooter for me, and I have to have someone to play with. I mean, I love the only shooters I can really play that I have no problem playing by myself with, either the campaign or multiplayer, because I always have someone to play with on multiplayer, even though they don't work as a team. Is I love my Halo series. I know everyone kind of dogs on the Halo series now. I'm like, I'd love the story. I like a sci-fi story. That's me. I love a sci-fi story. And people dog on the Halo series because it's not made by Bungie anymore. The new company that took over for Halo 4, I loved Halo 4. I mean, I didn't see what the big deal was, and I still don't see what the big deal was. The multiplayer, all they did was implement what was popular at the time, because everyone else was dogging on the other stuff that said, well, they need to do something different. It's the same old stuff. And this is a trend that I'm seeing in a lot of games, and I'm seeing it in movies and TV shows and everything. No one's happy. No one's happy. They ask for something, and then when they get it, it's not what they want, and then they want to bitch and complain about it.
Yeah.
It's frustrating. I mean, with Halo 4, they gave you different guns. You didn't want a gun, you didn't have to buy it. You could buy the battle rifle, you could buy the assault rifle, you can buy the new Halo, the new enemy weapons if you wanted to. You didn't have to unlock everything through levels. You could just get enough points and just buy it. But no, people didn't like that. Like, oh, that's just ripping off Call of Duty, and then they had the level progression system, and I'm like, what do you want? So I'm whatever.
Well,
no, I'm excited.
I'm
November.
The shooter games. I try to get into them, but I lose interest so fast because one, trying to play online, especially if you try to get into a group of friends who've been playing it for a while, they're gonna hate you or they're gonna hate me because I'm like never played before. I don't even know. I don't even where's the trigger button. They're gonna hate me. So it's like don't even bother trying to get into it.
It sucks, and that's what turns a lot of gamers off from trying something new with their friends, like a shooter, is that their friends are like, oh god, you suck at this. I don't have time to teach you, dude. We all started somewhere. And that's like those same people that say like Nintendo makes nothing but kid games. And you know what? I'll admit they do. They do make a lot of kid games like Pokemon and Mario and all them. We all started there at one point. Maybe they're not for you anymore. And that's fine. They're for the next generation that's going to. I remember cutting my teeth on Super Mario Brothers 3. I mean that was just. I mean, we all start somewhere, and I don't know. That's just the way I feel about it. Like I love gaming. It's just right now I've gotten to the point now, and I swore it would never happen to me. I'm getting to the point where I'm just not into it as much as I used to, because it's just fun. I can play a game by myself that has a really good story, but I like having people to play with.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I'm big into single player games and stuff. I just like to play that way, but games like Tiger Wood Golf and stuff, I'm really enjoying playing that with a couple of friends. But that's just what I'm hoping to get more involved with, playing with people online with the PS4. And I'm glad I have one because I'm looking forward to just a bigger catalog of games. It's not going anywhere. It's still going to be there forever. PS3 is going to eventually go away. So I've already got one. The entertainment system of it and everything is fantastic. Oh my god, it is so much quieter, dude. Like my PS3, it's one of the old fatty systems. It's like someone turned someone turned a refrigerator on in the room.
Yeah, mine did that and it died. I was almost done with Uncharted 2. Right at the last boss. I don't know if this ever happened to anybody, but this makes you want to throw your controller into your TV. The last boss. I got the last hit in it. What happens? PS3 dies. Right when I kill the boss. I'm like, no!
Yeah.
No!
Every time, man.
And I was done.
Speaking of being done, we actually just hit the 2-hour mark here, so
first deluxe final edition of Nerd Cube. As we said at the top of the program, we will be calling ourselves Nerd Realm. So Nerd Realm will be with you next Thursday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Same time. So
I'm pretty sure Abbs should be there with us.
I'm hoping
so.
I'm hoping
so.
Well, guys,
but this was like the super deluxe edition of Nerd Cube. So I guess this ends Nerd Cube on a 2-hour note.
Yeah. First time ever. Oh, it took us 5 weeks, but
Well, hey, Havok, thanks for having me on tonight, man. This was a good time.
Hey, thanks for coming. Thanks for coming on. And as always, listeners, thank you for joining us, and we will see you guys on a whole new adventure on Nerd Realms.
This has been a presentation of the Nerd Cube on NWR No Whiners Radio. Stay tuned for more. You have been listening to NWR No Whiners Radio.